It was an event that was supposed to be a footnote in an astronomical log. In the autumn of 2023, the interstellar comet known as 2I/Borisov had long since departed, a fleeting visitor that confirmed such objects were common. But then a new signal was detected, initially cataloged as C/2023 A1 and later reclassified as 3I/Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar interloper. It vanished into solar conjunction, slipping behind the blinding glare of our sun. For weeks, the world's great observatories waited, their lenses turned away, their operators assuming the story was over. The object, they presumed, would be a simple frozen relic, another piece of cosmic driftwood tumbling through the void. But then, the 3 Atlas Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System survey telescopes in Hawaii, South Africa, and Chile reacquired the signal. And what they saw stopped every conversation in every control room on Earth. The first images, captured with eerie synchronicity on Halloween night, revealed something that should not exist according to the bedrock principles of cometary physics. A celestial object glowing with an unnatural cerulean blue, seemingly defying the sun's immense gravitational pull and breaking nearly every established law governing how matter behaves in the vacuum of space. It wasn't just unusual, it was, by all known metrics, impossible. And as telescopes from the Canary Islands to the Atacama Desert locked onto this returning visitor from the abyss between stars, one terrifying realization began to spread through the scientific community with the speed of a virus. 3I/Atlas was not just moving, it was changing, and not in ways anyone, with all our accumulated knowledge, could begin to explain. A relic older than time. When 3I/Atlas re-emerged from its solar conjunction, it carried with it the spectral fingerprints of a journey older than our solar system itself, a journey that began in the galactic dawn. Initial spectroscopic analysis from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, revealed a truth more astonishing than any science fiction. The comet's surface was not a simple layer of ice and dust. It was encased in an organic crust, not a thin film, but a staggering layer 15 to 20 meters thick. A material forged over eons by relentless exposure to interstellar radiation. Data published in Nature Astronomy in early 2024 suggested this crust was the product of up to 11 billion years of bombardment by cosmic rays from supernova and colliding black holes, creating and annihilating complex carbon chains in an endless, ancient cycle. This was not merely an interstellar comet. It was a time capsule, a silent witness to galactic epics that unfolded before Earth had even coalesced from the primordial disk. It was a survivor, but the more scientists learned, the less sense it made. The standard dirty snowball model of comets, established by decades of observation, was rendered utterly obsolete. This object was almost entirely composed of carbon dioxide, with JWST data showing CO2 was 7.6 times more abundant than water ice. Its spectral signature glowed a deep, ominous red, a direct result of the carbon-rich, tholin-like material coating its entire body. Its composition wasn't just strange, it was unique, a chemical barcode no telescope, from Hubble to Spitzer, had ever recorded in the annals of astronomy. The impossible brilliance. Then came the moment that shattered the rulebook. As 3I/Atlas approached its perihelion, its closest, most violent pass by the sun, it did not fade, fragment, or disintegrate like every other comet in history. Instead, it exploded in brilliance. Within a matter of hours, its luminosity skyrocketed. In certain ultraviolet and blue wavelengths, it became brighter than the sun's own corona, outshining every supercomputer model prediction by orders of magnitude. Space-based observatories, including NASA's STEREO, the ESA NASA Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, SOHO, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's GOES-19 satellite, all captured the same impossible transformation. A body of presumed ice and dust was radiating with the raw energy of a small star. The data defied every natural mechanism. If subsurface ices were sublimating, releasing violent jets of vapor, then 3I/Atlas should have lost billions of tons of mass. leaving a massive, diffuse cloud of debris in its wake, a cloud that no instrument, no matter how sensitive, could detect. The comet remained starkly, unnervingly intact. No fragmentation, no dissipating trail. Its light curve was exponential, a vertical climb on a graph that no known thermal or outgassing process could possibly account for. It was as if something inside the object was waking up, releasing stored power in a way no natural celestial body ever had. For a few critical hours, 3I/Atlas behaved less like a random piece of cosmic rock and more like a machine executing a pre-programmed command. The calculated trajectory. If the composition was shocking and the brilliance baffling, the motion was what truly seeded a deep existential unease among astrophysicists. 3I/Atlas was not moving like a random interstellar object, careening chaotically through the gravity wells of our solar system. Its orbit was retrograde, moving opposite to the planets, yet it was almost perfectly aligned with the ecliptic plane, the plane in which the planets orbit, within a statistically insane margin of just 5 degrees. It threaded through the inner solar system in a sequence of gravitational flybys so precisely coordinated that independent analysts at the University of California, Berkeley, calculated the odds of them occurring by pure chance at less than 1 in 20,000. It passed within gravitational influence of Mars, then Venus, then used Jupiter in a slingshot maneuver. Yet it consistently avoided every direct, unobstructed line of sight from Earth during its brightest, most active phase. This trajectory was so statistically perfect, it appeared calculated, almost as if it were designed for maximum observational difficulty. Then radiotelemetry data from the Atacama Large Millimeter/Submillimeter Array, ALMA, in Chile, delivered another blow. The comet's precise position was off by 4 arcseconds from its predicted path. This discrepancy was far beyond what could be explained by gravitational lensing or the Yarkovsky effect. 3I/Atlas was accelerating, changing its speed without any visible or thermodynamic cause. The concept of non-gravitational acceleration is one of the most terrifying in modern physics because it leaves only 2 possibilities. Either 3I/Atlas was venting gas in a way that was perfectly invisible to our most advanced sensors and impossible under known thermodynamics, or it was being propelled by something else entirely. The 9 impossibilities in the Whisper network. By the time November 2023 arrived, the list of documented anomalies had grown to 9. Its nickel-to-iron ratio, analyzed by spectrometers, matched that of engineered stainless steel alloys, not the chaotic mix found in natural cosmic dust. Its light polarization was so extreme, it broke all existing MI scattering models used to analyze distant bodies. It emitted jets of material that, impossibly, pointed directly toward the sun against the outward pressure of the solar wind. Its water content was a mere 4% compared to the 70% typical of comets like 67P/Churyumov-Gerasimenko, studied in detail by the Rosetta mission. Individually, each anomaly could, with enough intellectual gymnastics, perhaps be explained away by an unknown natural process. But together, they defied all probability. Statisticians at Caltech estimated the odds of all 9 extreme anomalies occurring simultaneously in one object at less than 1 in a billion. It was at this precipice that the whispers began. Private, encrypted conversations between senior astronomers at NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, and the Chinese National Space Administration. Late-night conference calls where the unaskable question was finally voiced. What if this isn't about natural physics anymore? What if the problem isn't the data but our fundamental assumptions? Because if the trajectory, the composition, and the acceleration weren't random, then the inescapable conclusion was that 3I/Atlas was built to move and behave this way. The Crisis Summit and the Harmonic Signal. When the 9th anomaly was formally confirmed, the scientific world experienced a paradigm shift. The decades-long struggle to remain within the comfortable borders of explainable physics was collapsing. In the early hours of November 3rd, NASA quietly convened a closed emergency meeting, a gathering that included top specialists from ESA, the CNSA, and the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Officially, it was listed as a multi-agency data reconciliation symposium. Unofficially, it was a crisis summit. What was shared in that secure virtual room has never been made public. Leaked internal memos, however, suggest that the James Webb Space Telescope had been observing 3I/Atlas continuously for 48 hours, capturing mid-infrared emissions so pure and structured they could only originate from a controlled thermal process. The comet's infrared profile showed a distinct pulse pattern, repeating with metronomic precision every 247 seconds, modulating between high and low energy states not like a natural phenomenon, but like a signal. Dr. John Yu Lee, a renowned plasma physicist on the call, reportedly pointed out something that chilled the attendees. The 247-second rhythm corresponded precisely to a fundamental hydrogen line frequency, the same 21-centimeter wavelength, the water hole that was encoded on the Voyager Golden Record as a universal calling card. When NASA's Deep Space Network analysts ran the signal through a Fourier transform, they didn't find noise. They found harmonic frequencies layered like chords in a complex piece of music. It was then, according to one anonymous source, that someone in the room whispered, "It's communicating." No one laughed. The blue flash and the cosmic calling card. Then came the event that changed the conversation from theoretical to terrifyingly immediate. On November 6, 2023, multiple automated observatories across South America and Southern Africa recorded a sudden, blinding pulse of blue-white light emanating from 3I/Atlas. The flash lasted only 5 seconds, but at its peak it outshone the planet Venus, despite the object being nearly 300 million kilometers away. The energy output calculated by physicists at the University of Oxford was astronomical, equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of thousands of hydrogen bombs per second. Yet there was no accompanying heat signature, no fragmentation, no expanding cloud of visible debris. When the JWST's instruments refocused, the object looked exactly as it had before, untouched and unscathed. Even more baffling was the light spectrum of the flash itself. High-resolution analysis revealed a small but distinct absorption gap, a notch in the light, at exactly 1,420.405 megahertz. This is the universal frequency of neutral hydrogen, known the world over as the cosmic calling channel. For decades, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, has focused on this frequency, theorizing it would be the most logical and universal channel for interstellar communication. It was as if the flare wasn't merely a release of energy, it was a broadcast. It was information. Across the global scientific community, a stunned silence fell. Some clung to the idea of a colossal, natural resonance event amplified by a freak interaction with the solar wind. But those who had seen the raw, unprocessed data knew better. The hydrogen gap wasn't random noise. It was intentional. It was a signature. The earthly echo in the galactic network. While NASA and ESA scrambled to develop new models, the Chinese 500-meter aperture spherical radio telescope, FAST, the most sensitive radio telescope in the world, began picking up something even more profound. A low pulsing hum at 247-second intervals. The same rhythmic pattern observed by JWST was now echoing across the radio spectrum, originating from the direction of 3I/Atlas. This signal behaved unlike any natural astrophysical source. It seemed to curve through interplanetary magnetic fields, bending around the Earth's ionosphere as if actively compensating for interference. Its amplitude grew and faded with the day-night cycle, strengthening each time the sun dipped below the horizon, as if listening for something in the quiet. When the signal's complex structure was decoded into its base frequencies, it revealed a pattern that left even the most hardened skeptics feeling uneasy. It formed a harmonic ladder extending precisely 9 octaves, each one corresponding exactly to one of the 9 physical anomalies scientists had cataloged in 3I/Atlas. It was as if each impossible behavior, the wrong trajectory, the strange composition, the reverse jets, was being played back to humanity as a sequence of musical notes. The horrifying implication was that 3I/Atlas wasn't breaking the laws of physics. It was demonstrating them, showing us a new chapter we hadn't yet learned to read. As the signal continued, new anomalies began to manifest, not just in deep space, but here on Earth. Magnetic observatories from Sweden to Antarctica detected microfluctuations in our planet's magnetic field, pulsing in the same 247-second rhythm. Atmospheric sensors in Chile and Australia recorded subtle, synchronized temperature spikes. Even satellites orbiting Mars captured faint electromagnetic echoes following the same precise pattern. Every frequency, every pulse, pointed back to 3I/Atlas. Then came the final visual confirmation that broke the last vestiges of conventional explanation. High-resolution data from JWST's Near-Infrared Camera, NIRCAM, revealed that the comet's nucleus was no longer an irregular sphere. It had morphed into a near-perfect hexagonal structure. Each of its 6 facets emitted light in a sequential pattern, like illuminated panels on a colossal, rotating machine. Every 247 seconds, the hexagon completed one full rotation, and for a split second during each cycle, its geometry aligned directly with Earth's orbital path. When astrophysicists at the European Southern Observatory plotted these brief alignments on a cosmic map, they traced straight lines that intersected with the known positions of other interstellar objects. Oumuamua, Borisov, and 2 other recently discovered faint bodies drifting in the Kuiper Belt. Together, these 5 points formed a precise geometric pattern, a vast grid spanning light years. 3I/Atlas wasn't a lone wanderer. It was part of a node, a single point in a network woven into the very fabric of the galaxy itself. The activation and the answer. When the data from NASA, ESA, and China's FAST were finally merged and cross-referenced, a single terrifying truth emerged. The pattern was undeniably real. The 5 points in space formed a geometric alignment whose probability of occurring by chance was, for all intents and purposes, 0. It was, statistically speaking, designed. Initially, the research teams tried to dismiss it as a trick of perspective, an illusion seen only from Earth's unique vantage point. But then they realized the pattern was dynamic. It was moving. Using composite imaging from JWST and timing data from the Deep Space Network, researchers observed that each object in the formation emitted its faint pulse in perfect, synchronized unison every 247 seconds, as if following a universal clock. When these pulses were plotted over time, they formed a new shape, a fractal spiral that converged on a single specific point in the outer solar system, a region behind Neptune where no known major object resides. And yet telescopes began detecting a faint, growing ultraviolet glow emanating from that exact empty coordinate. NASA's initial report referred to it as a gravitomagnetic field anomaly. The Chinese Academy of Sciences termed it a resonant convergence, but the analysts running the simulations had a different, simpler name for it: the source, the geometry, the pulse, the hydrogen gap, the anomalous acceleration. They weren't a collection of random, unrelated phenomena. They were instructions. Together, they formed a massive interstellar array, a galactic-scale network built not of metal and wires, but of natural bodies re-engineered to act as transmitters, using the fundamental laws of physics, light, gravity, and resonance as their language. The laws of comet physics weren't being broken. They were being revealed as a single page in a much larger, more complex book. The implications are immediate and staggering. For over half a century, humanity has searched the skies for narrowband radio signals, thinking any intelligence would communicate in a format akin to our own. But what if advanced cosmic communication isn't linguistic at all? What if it is structural, encoded in the very geometry of celestial motion and the harmonic resonance of matter itself? As the models expand, they suggest hundreds, perhaps thousands, of potential nodes scattered across the Milky Way, all connected through a lattice of precise timing and alignment. A neural network of cosmic scale. The more we look, the clearer the picture becomes. 3I/Atlas is not an anomaly. It is a messenger, part of a system that is ancient, deliberate, and impossibly vast. Then came the final discovery, the one that truly hits home. Deep within the spectroscopic data from 3I/Atlas's blue flash, buried beneath layers of cosmic noise, analysts at the Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research found a secondary energy signature, a subtle harmonic ratio that matched the primary Schumann resonance of Earth's own atmosphere. The fundamental electromagnetic frequency of our planet, down to the thousandth decimal place. The pulse that had once seemed to be a one-way broadcast was now revealed to be perfectly synchronized with our world. 3I/Atlas wasn't just broadcasting, it was listening. And as its hexagonal core completed another full rotation in early 2024, a faint, almost imperceptible echo was detected returning through the hydrogen line. It did not come from deep space, it originated from Earth's own ionosphere. It was the same frequency, the same 247-second rhythm, but phase shifted and reversed, as if the planet itself, or something on it, had just answered. NASA's official public report, released in February 2024, concludes with the standard, cautious language. Further analysis is ongoing, but the language in the classified appendices, seen by only a handful of cleared individuals, is said to be radically different. It speaks of the alignment not as a discovery, but as an activation. Whatever process began when 3I/Atlas re-emerged from behind the sun is still unfolding, still synchronizing. And if the predictive models are correct, the next major pulse, the point of total resonance between this network and our planet, is projected to occur on March 11, 2031. No one knows what will happen then. Maybe nothing. A silent universe once more. Maybe everything. A fundamental rewriting of reality. Perhaps the universe will speak again, not through words or blinding light, but through a pattern, one so vast and ancient that humanity is only just beginning to realize it has been part of the conversation all along. So, if this story has made you look up at the night sky with a new sense of wonder and profound questions, if it has made you question what is truly moving in the darkness above us, if you've ever wondered whether the stars are silent or are simply speaking in a language we have forgotten how to hear, then do not look away. The greatest story in human history is unfolding right above our heads, and we are not merely spectators. We may be participants. Subscribe to this channel because when that next pulse reaches Earth in 2031, it won't just change what we know about comets and the cosmos. It will change forever what we know about our own place within it. The data is streaming in. The signal is clear. The countdown has begun.